Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whenever you are. Hello, thank you for watching my videos. It's Mike, it's July 26th, 2009. CIT Group. Now, you may not have heard of this. Effectively, CIT Group is a trade credit insurance company, a commercial lender, etc. Article here from Bloomberg. Dodd says U.S. shouldn't rule out helping CIT avoid bankruptcy. That's the Senate Banking Committee Chairman, Christopher Dodd. Never mind his little shenanigans he gets up to. Another article from Bloomberg, CIT Reworks tender to punish late exchange of notes. All sounds very, very boring, doesn't it? What is this CIT all about? Well, they're a commercial lender, so they lend money to various enterprises. They're also what's called a factoring firm. What is factoring? That was the first thing I asked. What is factoring? Factoring is essentially where you purchase, where a company like CIT will go and purchase the accounts receivable of a supply company. So, say for instance, primarily in the garment industry, but in other industries as well. So they'll buy the accounts receivable from the supplier and guarantee that if the retailer goes bust, then the supplier will get the money. They set up a contractual agreement to do this. So basically, every invoice that goes out, every purchase by whatever retailers or wherever these suppliers are sending things to, gets processed through CIT. So CIT effectively takes over the accounts receivable function of the supply companies. And in the process, they give them, 90 cents on the dollar, and so they get a small cut for doing all the legwork and going to find these things, getting the payments. In the process, though, they basically tie up the accounts receivable for these small companies, and this contractual agreement, they, are there. If CIT goes bust, guess what they're taking with them when they go bust? The accounts receivables. This will be fun. Now, what kind of effect is this going to have? It's having weird ripple effects across retailing. The retail industry is bracing for a possible bankruptcy by CIT. The New York-based commercial lender is the biggest player in the business of factoring, an age-old form of debt financing employed mainly by businesses that can't secure traditional bank loans or credit lines. Get the picture? By selling their receivables at a discount, these companies receive cash. And suppliers and apparel makers often rely on factoring to tide them over until retailers pay. CIT has 2,000 factoring clients, selling to approximately 300,000 retailers across the nation. What happens if 300,000 retailers no longer have supplies? What happens to these 2,000 suppliers? What's that going to do to the real economy? So basically these retailers are starting to get up in arms. There's nobody else out there that does this kind of work to the amount that CIT does. And now they are going and cap in hand to the banks, getting massive loans, massive interest rates on these loans from the banks to tide them over for a year while they sort out their mess. So, basically, if CIT goes bust with their factoring, all these other suppliers could very well go bust, having a knock-on effect that retailers will not have things to sell, and they'll go bust. Or, more importantly, there will be suppliers out there, but the retailers can't get the suppliers to actually give them stuff because there's no insurance if the retailer goes bust. In the interim, the supplier will get paid. So, there's all kinds of weird problems in this whole CIT thing. Now, the ripple effect is already starting to squeeze small businesses and retailers. Few consumers realize the importance of CIT Group, but the company's perilous footing could trip up a huge swathe of the business world, affecting everything from holiday season gift choices to payroll at local companies. CIT's future remained in doubt on Thursday, so this was from a few weeks ago. At the cat practice in Oak Park, veterinarian Lori Colin is worried that the $1.4 million loan from CIT to buy the practice might be called in. And quote here, "I'm not in any position to pay this back." So, all kinds of weird things are going to start happening across all of retailing and supply chain and garment industry and manufacturing, all kinds of weird things. I mean, a veterinarian was getting a commercial loan from them. This could very well be the trigger. So watch what happens to CIT Group. Watch if the government actually figures out how important this company actually is to the US economy and indeed the global economy, and if they're going to do anything about it. Peace, love, understanding, think about things. Bye.